There you are. Welcome back to my backyard and to the roaster. Little update from last week. The Colombian beans are not any fruitier. It's been about 8 days, but they are delicious. Toasty, kind of a cinnamon caramel, and that happens to be what I'm drinking today. That being said, I just have more Colombian beans left. So I was thinking of a friend, and they like dark roasted coffee. I don't often roast a lot of dark coffee beans, but I love sending coffee to my friends. And so I'm going to roast a batch special just for them. And Colombian beans happen to make a great dark roast. So we're going to do it. I'm a little unfamiliar with dark roasted coffee. I've done it before, I just don't do it a lot. So I understand how it's supposed to work, but it's always a little risky. I don't want to burn them. I don't want them to be ashy. So the goal today is to get a nice, robust, dark roasted bean that doesn't taste too bitter. That's not like licking the bottom of a Weber kettle grill. We don't want that. So let's load them up. Okay, so I've dropped the beans in. They're soaking is what it's called. I've turned the fire completely off. I preheated the cooker to 425 when I dropped them in. So the thinking there is that the heat won't be too aggressive up front, so some of the moisture will cook off of the bean and kind of prepare us to cook all the way through. So now I'm watching the bean temperature. It's dropping because it just went in. But I'm going to wait until it starts to go upward and take on the heat of the chamber, which is called turning point. It stops descending and starts going up, starts roasting. And it just happened. Turn my fan up to 2.5, which is usually where I roast at. And they're on their way. So my plan to get to this dark roast is really hot in the beginning, because the longer I have them in there, the more likely they're going to get bitter or scorch the outside. So I started with a higher charge temp than normal at 425, and I'm usually starting just under 400. And we're going to cook them hot and fast. Something that's kind of fun about a dark roast is we usually get to first crack, where those beans start popping, and I'm pulling the beans just after first crack, or 30 to 45 seconds after first crack. I like that light roast. With the dark roast, we're going to go all the way through first crack, which means the beans will start to crackle and sizzle, and then they'll actually stop. And then there's a second crack where they start to cook again, and that's where we're going to want to pull these. Usually around 445 degrees, which is way higher than normal. I'm usually pulling around 385, 395. So hopefully we can do it. I always get nervous about dark roasted coffee because it is so easy to just scorch it, and then you're out of that really toasty, dark, kind of bitter dark chocolates, and you're just into all bitter, like charcoal. We don't want charcoal. We want dark and toasty. All right, so we're 3.5 minutes in. We just hit 298 degrees, so we're climbing pretty fast, and I'm feeling optimistic. It's a cloudy day today. and it is turning cooler. It always surprises me. I see the mountains from here. I never know exactly when it's going to happen every year, but this week they started to turn red. You just see splotches of red, and the whole mountain changes before you know it. I am feeling pensive today, thinking about my friends. One friend in particular I'm thinking about is a man named Roy, the man who made this hat that I'm wearing. Roy was a hat maker and a very kind and patient person. Alright, we're well on our way now. We're at about 5.5 minutes. I'm roasting a smaller batch than normal in hopes that they'll cook a little faster so that I don't have a big batch of beans I'm trying to worry about not burning. So where this is a smaller batch, we've accomplished that goal of it cooking faster. We're already at 350, around the 6-minute mark. So I'm going to start to introduce some air and ease us into first crack. I don't want to make a big adjustment on the air. Those beans should start popping any minute now. So we're at 365 at the 6.5-minute mark, which would be quick for a light roast, but since we're going dark, it should work out to our advantage. That was definitely a pop. $3.75. There's another pop. I'll go ahead and call first crack. They're really popping now. Let's give them a smell. Definitely toasty. Ooh, really distinct caramel on that. So we're about 390, and they're really popping now. You can hear them. Oh, I love that. Normally I would pull them, but we're going to ride on through. Now that they're really cracking, I'm going to give it a little more air so they don't get burnt on the outside. So we're at 8 minutes. 397 degrees on the beans. It's fun when they're deep in that first crack. You just hear a rolling pop. And then toward the end of first crack, that rolling pop will start to slow down again and get a little more sporadic. All right, 9 minutes in, and we're approaching 420 degrees. Now you hear those pops have subsided, so first crack is over. And this is where we get in danger of really burning the beans, so I'm going to introduce a little more air. Now the beans are so hot that a lot of heat is going to be coming from the beans themselves. They've switched from an exothermic to an endothermic reaction. Or maybe it's the other way around. The heat's coming from the beans now rather than the chamber, so. They're going to start releasing their oils and get kind of greasy, and you'll hear that, there's that sizzle. So now I'm going to crank that heat, and that second crack, we're going to pull them at 445. Ooh, you hear that? There we go. That's what second crack sounds like. As always, our job is to cool these off as quick as possible. And they are dark, a little shiny. The truth is, I probably could have gone darker. I probably could have gone well past second crack till it was just a really dark bean, but it just breaks my heart to have to go that dark, so I got to retain a little bit of those light fruity flavors. Although this is probably more like the LaCroix of light fruity. I doubt you detect any kind of origin at this point, and it's more the flavor of how it was roasted. They're cooling fast, that's good. Yeah, these darker roasts will cool faster because a lot of the chaff that comes off the bean burns off in the dark roast. So I don't have as much chaff blocking my output, which means it's getting a lot of air on it. Wow. Those are cool. So we ended up pulling these at the 11-minute mark, and they roasted to 445 degrees, which is a pretty dark roast. Morning. It's nice and cool. Looks like it rained last night for a bit. I've got to follow through and get these beans over to the post office to mail off to some friends in Idaho. They build bikes, and I think they'll appreciate these. But, you know, I wouldn't be a good friend myself if I didn't do a little bit of quality control before they go out. So I've brewed some of this Colombian dark roast. I let it rest overnight, degas a little bit. I'm excited about it. It smells very rich, very robust. It doesn't smell burnt. It just kind of has that diner coffee shop smell. So I'm excited. Let's go in for that first sip. a little hot, but you know, normally I'm not a dark roast guy, but I gotta say this is pretty good. It is right what you get at the beginning of that second crack. It's a full bodied coffee flavor. I don't want to it's not a burn, but it's similar to the way spice fills your mouth. It coats the top and the back of your mouth with just that coffee flavor. Oh my gosh. It's not burnt. It's not bitter. And it's definitely not bright and fruity or acidic. I gotta tell you, it's really good. It's really good. I'm happy with this. I don't know that I could pinpoint where this bean is from, but there is definitely still just a hint of dark, bitter chocolatiness, but not in an offensive way, in a really nice, smooth way. Oh. I'm excited. I think they're going to be happy with this. I'm excited to have them try it. It's hard to always get out and get beans sent to someone I care about. I wish I could do it every day. And I, like everybody else, get busy. And you know, I regret people that I probably should have sent beans to sooner. But I don't regret today. And I'm excited to get these off. So.